We have Colonel Rajiv Agarwal right here in the studio, Senior Research Consultant, Chintan Research Foundation. Manan Bhatt, Navy veteran, joins us. Commander V.K. Jaitley is also with us on the broadcast. Let me first come to you, Colonel Agarwal. What we just heard, and that's exactly what India has been saying. That's been our resolve, that this is a fight against terrorism. We are fighting. But if Pakistan thinks that this is a fight against them, and if they are so heavily invested in that system, it's only going to hurt them, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, in today's scenario, as it continues, Pakistan has not found a way out of terror. So, our fight is against terror, and we demonstrated it when we launched the attack. Of military and civilian infrastructure is definitely upping the scale on the escalatory ladder, because then India reserves the right to respond as it wishes.
You know, Commander Jaitley, yes, there are multiple internal problems because you don't know who's ruling there, whether it's the government, it's the deep state, it's the army, and that's their business. But it becomes everyone else's business when the terror from your territory, from your soil starts emanating and creeping into other territories, trying to destabilize them, and you somehow gain out of that, and you're not doing anything about that.
In Pakistan, in fact, there is nobody who is in control. Their general, Munir, I call him Mullah Munir, because the language he spoke a few days back, that is the one which gave rise to, I will say, the 22nd April attack in Pahalgam. His language was totally of a typical fanatic mullah. And it is Pakistan who has given birth to this global terrorism, I call it. So let us not expect that Pakistan will fight against this terrorism. Sorry, they will not. It is they who have given the birth to terrorism. Now the whole world has to come together. If they really want peace, harmony in this world, the world has to unite against terrorism. We need zero tolerance against terrorism all over the world. And we have to squeeze Pakistan financially and from all angles so that their support becomes totally zero. And India, obviously, I think under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, we have zero tolerance towards terrorism now. We can't tolerate anymore these so-called intolerant people.
Like you said, and like Ambassador Chandra pointed out earlier, that perhaps would help and would be a great service to Pakistan. Mr. Bhatt, I know
why did they think about it? They don't think. They feel that is the only way they can fight with India. They think about Ghazwa Hind.
But if
they want to decimate India.
If your only agenda is to try and destabilize India, what else do you think they are investing their money and their minds
India.
into?
They want to eat away India totally. They want to just grab India.
All right, Mr. Bhatt, I know you want to come in. I have a very quick update to share with our viewers. Let me just quickly tell our viewers what the breaking input is. Now, we're given to understand a meeting over cyber security is underway in the North Block, and this meeting is being chaired by the Finance Minister, Nirmala Sitharaman. Let's go across to Pradeep Datta for more on this. So, cyber security meet in the national capital. Pradeep, what are you picking up?
Yes, right now the cyber security meet is going on here at the North Block, and this meeting is being chaired by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. And during this meeting, they are discussing about how to prevent hackers, hack activities from targeting the financial institutions, because there had been several attempts of cyber attack from across the border, especially at a time when there is already a tension between the two countries. We have seen that how these hackers are trying to target many of these financial institutions. So they are trying to ensure that these institutions should not be targeted. What are the measures and the steps that can be taken? Besides this, they are also discussing about, because as we know, the situation with the passing day is deteriorating, and Pakistan is trying to escalate situation on the border. They are also trying to ensure that at least the ATM machine need to have the proper money so that the people do not face any problems, especially in the border belt area, and try to ensure that the proper deposits of amount is properly deposited inside the ATM machine, so the people do not face any kind of a problem. The main part issue will be like about how to prevent any kind of cyber attack on any of the financial institutions, banks, or any other things. So that will be discussed, because there had been several attempts in the past, and this time they want that.
Once the meeting concludes, Pradeep, I'll come back to you for updates on that. I quickly want to go back to our guest, to Mr. Bhatt. Mr. Bhatt, what we are discussing at the moment, and this has been India's strategy as well from day one, ever since Operation Sindoor was launched, that we are not going to tolerate this anymore. This usage of terror to bleed India, to give 1,000 cuts to India through terrorism is something that we are not going to tolerate. Zero tolerance policy. And Operation Sindoor was a response to that, hitting the terror dens that have been impacting India. Otherwise, whatever is happening in Pakistan is none of our business until it impacts us.
Indeed, you have a आपका जो पड़ोसी है, when he is a terrorist nation, a rogue nation, then it does matter to us. And I have a counter view with respect to stopping the finances or FATF grey list and all. Pakistan was there after the Balakot airstrike, but it doesn't work. The terror financing doesn't happen through white channels for financing terror. They have billions of dollars business of drugs, narcotics. So it doesn't. The terrorism support to terrorism doesn't happen just through the white channel money get reaches Pakistan. The first thing first. Another thing is India didn't want an escalation. We were precise with our strikes earlier. But as of now, as the escalation, Pakistan has pressed the escalation better, that we must realize.
Sir, I'm interrupting you. I apologize for that. But very, very important update coming in. This is what defense sources are telling Times Now, that around 500 drones were launched towards Indian positions by the Pakistani army last night, which were sighted at 24 locations from Siachen base camp in Ladakh to Kutch area in Gujarat. 50 of these drones were destroyed by air defense guns, while around 20 were brought down through soft kills, I beg your pardon. Most of the drones were unarmed. The drones were fitted with cameras and possibly relaying footage to their ground stations. This is what we are picking up from our sources. The Indian air defense system took out almost all the drones, and this is what you're witnessing on your screens at the moment, in fact, of how the defense system took out drones which could have caused damage to infrastructure. On your screens at the moment is that process, the process where the Indian air defense system, active and accurate, took out almost all drones. Colonel Agarwal, if you could add more to this of what we are looking at the moment. This is something that has negated all the attempts.
Absolutely. I mean, yesterday the swarm drone attack which took place, and now you see the extent of geography from North Siachen right up to the South Kutch. So they have not left any inch of territory which is part of the international border or line of control, which has been left untouched. My emphasis is more on the soft kill, because here you have disabled and downed the drones just without any kinetic
Can you help us understand in layman's language what is soft kill?
Yeah, so there are two ways of downing any airborne platform. One is that you take it out with L-70 kind of an air defense gun or a missile which has been launched. Other is you fire a electromagnetic pulse which jams and disables the flying system within the drone. It disconnects its command to the base from where the drone is being controlled, and then the drone falls like a dead stone onto the earth.
So you're not using any of your weapons from your arsenal, but you're releasing an electromagnetic pulse to destroy the drone.
Correct.
And that's a soft kill.
That's a soft kill, because you have not used any of your missiles or guns or shells. So you have made a very cost-effective solution to down it.
And look at the range. Mr. Bhatt, you want to come in here? Look at the range. 500 drones were launched. All the attempts negated and thwarted. And on display, in fact, is how active and accurate our air defense system was.
Indeed, it is a heartwarming scene that the way our air defense system, I would say it is an anti-drone system that worked very perfectly, precisely, and defended our territory, our civilian targets, and that is what they are meant for. India has been investing in indigenous technology. As far as I know, this technology seemed quite indigenous to me, and drone systems and also the anti-drone systems that our Indian companies are developing, including the PSUs. And indeed, Pakistan launched when they swarmed Indian skies with multiple drones. It looked like a Hamas-like attack. It might not be. It is a cliche that I used, but it was just to overwhelm Indian air defenses. That is what they did. But Indian air defenses very quietly, very calmly, they took each of the drones down and responded to Pakistan's threat. And in response, as India is using offensive defense. We all know. On the one hand, our air defenses were working. Our anti-drone systems were taking down their drones, jamming their signals, hitting them hard. And on the other hand, India opened up another front and targeted the bases, the originating places from where these drones had arrived.
Right.
So it is indeed a very heartwarming scene for any Indian.
Absolutely. Let's in fact open this this visual that we are playing out on the big screen here. On one hand, of course, is the air defense system, how it operates on display. On the other hand, the remnants that were found of the drones that were used. Now, Colonel Agarwal, what are we looking at? Can you please come here, sir, near the screen? Can I say that this moment is where the target is locked in, and then the sudden flash of light that you see, what is that?
Yeah, so this is the screen where the any aerial platform is being monitored. So, you know, in the air defense system, first is the surveillance, then is the tracking, identification, then you pass it on to the, tracking, then, firing. So, it's a whole system which happened, and it happens in split second.
Right. So, it sounds like a long process,
Yeah.
but it is happening within a...
It's all automated. So from surveillance, it identifies whether it's an offensive object, what kind of a response does it require, at how many kilometers should it be destroyed. All this is automated with a lot of artificial intelligence, and thereafter it is conveyed to a fire control radar. Then the fire control radar takes over the responsibility, and then it gets the weapon platform or the missile to fire and take on this.
So many things happening at the same time and in split seconds, because Commander Jaitley, I'd like you also to come here. 500 drones downed, 500 drones thwarted and negated. And are we, if I'm not wrong, talking about the Akash Tir system?
Akash has a range of around 25 to 40 kilometers. Okay, it starts detecting around 70 kilometers ahead. S-400 starts detecting at 600 kilometers. And then when they come within the 400 kilometers, then you start tracking. The total, first it is the surveillance radar, which is taking, let's say, around 80 targets. Then it passes on to, as he said, fire control radar, when it comes within 400 kilometer range. So 36 targets are then tracked. And then you are accordingly, whether it's a big target, small one, there are 4 types of missile in S-400.
Okay.
So then they are activated depending upon the size. But these drones, I don't think S-400 comes into picture.
Okay.
It will be Akash, even the lesser than that, L-70 probably.
So you don't need an S-400 for these drones?
No, you don't need that.
Okay, so what we're looking at right now, I believe 500 drones fired. This is our system that was tracking, and these are the remnants.
Even I am thinking if 50 it says were destroyed by the air defense system, that's by the L-70 most probably, and 20 were deactivated by that EMP, what you are saying. What happened to remaining 430? Whether they took photographs and went back? It is not saying that, news is not saying anything about that.
No, and what we are looking at the moment, and let's go through that detail once again, in terms of how many
because
were...
500 it says.
Yes.
And only 50
So
were destroyed.
500 drones were launched.
Correct. And 500 destroyed by air defense system.
Yes.
And 20 were inactivated. So what happened to the remaining 430? I'm not...
So, and there are some drones that were used only to capture the footage.
Correct. So did they go back after taking the footage?
All right. All right.
We don't know about it from this news.
We'll take a very quick... Okay,
there is some gap in
some missing
information, or maybe the figure of 500.
Maybe it will start coming in. Like how we have this image right now of the air defense system and the remnants of that. Maybe slowly the information will start coming in. And we'll, of course, keep our viewers ahead with that information. We'll report that as soon as we get a quick break with that. Lot more lined up on the other side. All right, welcome back. We are on standby for the press conference by the Ministry of External Affairs and Ministry of Defense, a joint press conference. Meanwhile, we're getting some information. This is what we're picking up from our defense sources on the number of drones that were launched towards the Indian positions by the Pakistan army. What we are given to understand at the moment is that these were sighted. The drones that came towards India from the Pakistani side were sighted at 24 locations, from Siachen base camp in Ladakh to Kutch area in Gujarat. Around 50 of these drones were destroyed by air defense guns, while around 20 were brought down through soft kills. And our guests here are telling us that soft kill is when you release an electromagnetic pulse. You don't have to use weapons, and that electromagnetic pulse will bring down the drone. Isn't that, sir?
Yeah.
Also, what we have behind me, and you can explain it to us, Commander Jaitley, is a tracking screen that we are looking at. This is a tracking screen which is part of the air defense system.
Correct. So now once it is within the tracking mode, So system has logged on, that means. So when the system is logged on, you can just fire and it will kill it. Till it is not tracking,
This
now
is-
see it's showing
yeah.
it. It's tracking, now it's going out. So if suppose it is here, it will not be able to kill. It has to be within this circle.
Circumference.
Then it will be able to kill it. Yes.
All right, so it locks the target first and
Correct,
then kills.
correct,
Also,
yes.
you know, you were earlier talking about how from the Siachen base to Kutch, this is exactly the entire western and the northern
Yes.
front that Pakistan was trying to target. 15 cities, that's what we're talking about, 4 states. And in that entire range, we've been able to not just intercept and also thwart and negate and bring down these drones?
Absolutely. So, Swati, irrespective of the number of drones, they can be, you know, some lack of information that is there. The fact remains that Pakistan tried to activate action right from Siachen base across to Gujarat. That means the entire western border and the northern border. And the second issue is that none of them succeeded. So just imagine the kind of air defense shield that exists in our across our borders, integrating so many sensors and weapon platforms that none of their attempts succeeded. So whether it is 50, 500 or 5 doesn't matter.
So as a layman, I want to ask you this. So is it possible, is there a way to identify which drone is carrying a weapon and which drone only has a camera fitted? Is there a way to identify?
To my
We have
limited
to
knowledge,
kill it, whether it's a camera or with the weapon, whatever it is. We should kill it. Even if it's with camera also, it's taking formation
it's a
from
threat,
area.
absolutely.
It's a threat, so we should kill it. So any drone coming from the enemy side, we should kill it straight
No,
away.
I asked that question is because the information that is coming to fore is that there were a lot of, and as we speak, we are getting the frame now of the joint briefing that is going to take place. And the information that we were just sharing with the viewers, there were a lot of drones that just had a camera mounted, perhaps relaying the footage back to their base or their handlers, so they didn't have weapons.
no, so in my knowledge, I do not know how a tracking system or a surveillance system can distinguish
Differentiate.
between a drone which is carrying only a camera or a camera and a explosive
Right,
device or a
right.
weapon system. So I would not be able to say that. But irrespective of that, I would again say the bottom line is that they could not inflict even a single success across our cities, and that is what is the takeaway from
Correct.
So some drones were there to hit, and I believe the
Yeah, now they're
speakers
starting.
are there, and perhaps we can cut live to